There are some on-screen partnerships that transcend the boundaries of cinema and become something almost mythical in the collective consciousness of movie lovers worldwide. And when we talk about such legendary pairings, one duo immediately springs to mind: Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. Their chemistry in Titanic wasn't just acting. It was magic captured on celluloid. But here's what most people don't know. Behind those breathtaking romantic scenes, behind those intimate moments that made millions weep in theaters, there's a fascinating story of vulnerability, trust, and genuine friendship that Leo himself has finally opened up about. And trust me, what he's revealed about filming those intimate scenes with Kate will completely change how you view their iconic performances. Picture this. It's 1996, and a young Leonardo DiCaprio, fresh off critical acclaim, but not yet the megastar he'd become, walks onto the set of what would become the highest-grossing film of all time. James Cameron, known for his perfectionism and demanding directorial style, has assembled a cast for an ambitious project that many in Hollywood are betting will be a disaster. The budget is ballooning, the shooting schedule is punishing, and right at the heart of this cinematic gamble are two young actors who barely know each other, about to film some of the most intimate and emotionally vulnerable scenes in cinema history. Leo has spoken candidly in recent interviews about the sheer terror and excitement of those early days on the Titanic set. He wasn't just nervous about the scale of the production or Cameron's reputation. He was genuinely anxious about the intimate scenes he'd have to perform with Kate Winslet, an actress he deeply respected but had only just met. And this is where the story gets really interesting, because what happened between these two actors during the filming of those scenes would forge a friendship that has lasted decades and create a professional bond that Hollywood rarely witnesses. When Leo talks about filming intimate scenes with Kate, the first thing he emphasizes is the absolute necessity of trust. And not just professional trust. We're talking about a deep personal trust that requires two actors to be completely vulnerable with each other in front of dozens of crew members, massive cameras, and the knowledge that millions of people will eventually watch these moments. Leo has described the experience as being simultaneously terrifying and oddly liberating, because Kate made it clear from day one that they were in this together, that there would be no judgment, no awkwardness, just two professionals committed to telling an authentic love story. The famous drawing scene, the one where Rose asks Jack to draw her wearing only the heart of the ocean necklace, has become one of the most iconic moments in film history. But what Leo has revealed about filming that scene is absolutely fascinating. He's talked about how his hands were literally shaking during the first few takes, not because he was uncomfortable with Kate, but because the weight of the scene's importance to the story was overwhelming. Cameron needed that moment to establish the depth of Jack and Rose's connection, to show a level of intimacy and trust that would make the audience understand why Rose would choose Jack over her privileged life. And Leo knew that if he couldn't convey genuine admiration, vulnerability, and respect in that scene, the entire emotional arc of the film would collapse. What's remarkable is how Kate handled the situation. Leo has spoken with such admiration about her professionalism and her ability to make him feel comfortable. Before they filmed the scene, Kate apparently broke the ice with humor. She's famous for her down-to-earth personality and her ability to diffuse tension with well-timed jokes. She told Leo that she was far more nervous than he was, that she was the one who had to be vulnerable while he got to hide behind a sketchpad. That moment of shared vulnerability, that acknowledgement that they were both scared, and that was okay, created a foundation of trust that you can see in every frame of that scene. Leo has also opened up about the technical challenges of filming intimate scenes. It's not like the movies make it seem, where everything is romantic and perfectly choreographed. In reality, there are dozens of people standing around, bright lights creating uncomfortable heat, camera operators adjusting angles, and directors calling for take after take after take. The car scene in Titanic, another iconic moment that pushed boundaries for a PG-13 film, required numerous takes over multiple days. Leo has talked about how exhausting it was, not physically but emotionally, to maintain that level of vulnerability and passion repeatedly while staying true to the characters. And here's something that Leo has emphasized repeatedly when discussing these scenes. They were never gratuitous. James Cameron had a specific vision for how to portray Jack and Rose's relationship, and every intimate moment served the story. The scenes were about connection, about two people from different worlds finding each other and creating their own universe, even if only briefly. Leo has said that understanding Cameron's vision made filming those scenes easier because they weren't just acting out romantic moments. They were building a relationship that would resonate with audiences for generations. The underwater kissing scenes presented their own unique challenges. Leo has described the experience of filming in the massive water tank that Cameron constructed for Titanic as being both exhilarating and genuinely dangerous. When you're trying to convey passion and romance while also dealing with hypothermia-inducing water temperatures and the physical demands of staying underwater, it requires a level of trust between actors that goes beyond typical on-set partnerships. Kate and Leo had to rely on each other not just emotionally but physically. They had to trust that the other person would help them stay safe while also delivering authentic performances. Leo has been particularly vocal about the importance of consent and communication when filming intimate scenes, something that has become increasingly important in the conversation about Hollywood practices. He's talked about how he and Kate would discuss each scene beforehand, establishing boundaries and making sure they were both comfortable with what was being asked of them. This wasn't just about professionalism, it was about respect. Leo has said that he learned from that experience how crucial it is to have open dialogue with scene partners, to check in with each other, and to create an environment where either person can speak up if something doesn't feel right. The famous "I'm flying" scene at the bow of the ship has become one of the most parroted and referenced moments in cinema, but filming it was apparently one of the most physically uncomfortable experiences for both actors. Leo has revealed that they shot that scene during sunset hours to capture the perfect lighting, which meant long periods of standing in awkward positions on a narrow platform with powerful wind machines blowing salt water into their faces. The romance you see on screen was the result of multiple takes, where both actors had to ignore physical discomfort and environmental challenges to capture that moment of pure joy and freedom that defines Jack and Rose's relationship. What's perhaps most touching about Leo's reflections on filming these scenes is how he talks about Kate's influence on his approach to acting. He said that watching her fearlessly commit to the vulnerable, intimate moments taught him about the courage it takes to be truly present in a scene. Kate never held back, never let self-consciousness get in the way of the story, and that bravery inspired Leo to push past his own insecurities. He's credited her with teaching him that the most powerful performances come from a place of complete authenticity, even, or especially, in the moments that feel most exposing. The bedroom scene in the car, which was revolutionary for its time in terms of what could be shown in a mainstream Hollywood blockbuster, required careful choreography and multiple discussions between the actors, the director, and the intimacy coordinators. Though the role of intimacy coordinators wasn't as formalized in the 90s as it is today. Leo has talked about how that scene was approached with a level of seriousness and planning that surprised him at the time. Every movement was discussed, every angle was considered, and throughout it all, the focus remained on telling the story of two people choosing each other in the face of impending tragedy. Leo has also opened up about the emotional toll of filming the later scenes in the movie, after the ship has sunk, where Jack and Rose are in the freezing water. While these aren't intimate scenes in the romantic sense, they required a different kind of intimacy, the intimacy of shared suffering and the gut-wrenching portrayal of loss. He's talked about how filming Rose's refusal to let go of Jack, even as he's dying, required him and Kate to access deep wells of emotion. The trust they'd built filming the earlier scenes made these devastating moments possible, because they'd already established that they could be completely vulnerable with each other. One of the most interesting things Leo has revealed is how the filming of Titanic changed his perspective on on-screen romance. Before that film, he'd done romantic scenes in other projects, but nothing that required the sustained intimacy and emotional depth of Jack and Rose's relationship. He said that the experience taught him that intimate scenes aren't about physicality, they're about emotional truth. The most powerful moments in Titanic aren't when Jack and Rose are being physical with each other. They're the quiet moments where they're sharing their dreams, their fears, their true selves. Leo has been incredibly generous in his praise for Kate's talent and professionalism, but he's also talked about how she kept things light on set. Between takes of emotionally heavy or physically demanding scenes, Kate would apparently crack jokes, do impressions, or find ways to make everyone laugh. This ability to shift between deep emotional work and lighthearted humor created a healthy working environment and prevented the filming process from becoming too dark or oppressive. Leo has said that Kate's approach taught him the importance of not taking yourself too seriously, even when the work itself is serious. The reunion between Leo and Kate in Revolutionary Road, more than a decade after Titanic, gave them the opportunity to explore a completely different kind of intimacy, the painful, complicated intimacy of a marriage falling apart. Leo has talked about how interesting it was to film intimate scenes with Kate in that context, where the physicality was present but the emotional connection was fractured. He said that having the foundation of trust from Titanic made it possible to explore those darker, more challenging aspects of intimacy. They could show a couple going through the motions without the genuine connection because they knew what real connection looked like. They'd captured it in Titanic. What Leo emphasizes when discussing intimate scenes is that they're just another tool in an actor's toolkit for telling a story. They're not more important or more challenging than any other scene. They just require a different kind of preparation and a specific type of trust between actors. He's talked about how the mystique around filming intimate scenes often creates more anxiety than necessary. When approached with professionalism, clear communication, and respect, they become just another part of the storytelling process. Leo has also been candid about how the industry has evolved since Titanic was filmed. The conversations around consent, the presence of intimacy coordinators, the protocols for filming sensitive scenes, all of these have improved dramatically. He said that while he and Kate were fortunate to have a director who took their comfort seriously and a working relationship built on mutual respect, not every actor has been so lucky. He's been supportive of the changes in Hollywood that have formalized protections and support systems for actors filming intimate scenes. The impact of Titanic on both Leo's and Kate's careers cannot be overstated, and Leo has reflected on how the intimate scenes in that film became defining moments not just in the movie, but in popular culture. The image of Rose lying on the couch while Jack sketches her has been referenced, parodied, and homaged countless times. Leo has talked about the strange experience of having intimate moments from his work become part of the global consciousness, how people around the world can reference those scenes instantly. It's added a layer of complexity to his relationship with the film, and with those scenes specifically. One aspect that Leo has touched on is the age difference between himself and Kate during filming. Kate was 21 and Leo was 22, both relatively young and early in their careers. He's reflected on how being young and less experienced in some ways made filming those scenes easier because they hadn't yet developed the self-consciousness that can come with age and fame. They were still at a point in their careers where they were willing to take risks and throw themselves completely into the work without overthinking it. Leo has spoken movingly about how filming Titanic with Kate created a bond that has lasted throughout their lives. They've remained close friends, supporting each other through career highs and personal challenges. He said that there's something about going through such an intense, vulnerable experience with someone that creates a permanent connection. They shared something extraordinary during those months of filming, and that's not something you can replicate or find often in Hollywood or in life. The technical aspects of filming intimate scenes have also been part of Leo's reflections. He's talked about the closed sets, the minimal crew, the careful attention to making sure both actors felt protected and respected. Even in the 90s, before many of the current protocols existed, Cameron and the Titanic production team took steps to create an environment where Kate and Leo could do their best work without unnecessary exposure or discomfort. Leo has also addressed the awkwardness that can come with having family members or friends watch films that contain intimate scenes. He's joked about his mother watching Titanic and about the universal experience of actors whose parents have to sit through their children's on-screen romantic moments. But he's also said that he's proud of the work in Titanic, including the intimate scenes, because they served the story and they were done with integrity and respect. What comes through most clearly when Leo discusses filming intimate scenes with Kate is his profound respect for her as an artist and as a person. He's consistently praised her bravery, her talent, her professionalism, and her kindness. He said that she set the standard for what a scene partner should be, and that every collaboration since has been measured against the experience of working with her on Titanic. That's not just professional admiration. That's genuine affection and appreciation for someone who helped him through one of the most challenging and important experiences of his career. Leo has also talked about the responsibility that comes with filming intimate scenes in a movie that reaches as wide an audience as Titanic did. Millions of young people saw that film as their introduction to on-screen romance, and Leo has reflected on what kind of message those scenes sent. He's said that he's proud that the intimacy in Titanic was always about connection, respect, and genuine emotion rather than gratuitous physicality. Jack and Rose's relationship, including its intimate moments, portrayed romance in a way that emphasized emotional connection and mutual respect. The legacy of those scenes extends beyond the film itself. Leo and Kate's chemistry in Titanic became the benchmark against which on-screen partnerships are measured. The ease and authenticity they brought to those intimate moments convinced audiences worldwide that Jack and Rose were truly in love, which made the tragedy of their story all the more devastating. Leo has acknowledged that creating that level of believable intimacy was crucial to the film's success, and that it required both technical skill and emotional openness from both actors. In recent years, as conversations about intimacy on screen have become more nuanced and sophisticated, Leo has participated in discussions about best practices and industry standards. He's been an advocate for making sure actors feel safe and supported when filming sensitive scenes, and he's credited his experience with Kate on Titanic as teaching him what a positive experience can look like. He's used that knowledge throughout his subsequent career, bringing the same level of professionalism and respect to his collaborations with other actors. Leo has also reflected on how filming intimate scenes early in his career shaped his approach to choosing roles. After Titanic, he became much more selective about projects, looking for scripts where any intimate scenes served the story and weren't included simply for shock value or to attract audiences. He said that his experience on Titanic taught him to look for directors who understand the importance of context and storytelling over spectacle. The enduring friendship between Leo and Kate has been a source of fascination for fans, and Leo has been open about how that friendship was forged during the making of Titanic. The trust required to film those intimate scenes, the shared experience of being at the center of such a massive production, the mutual support they provided each other during challenging moments. All of these created a foundation for a friendship that has lasted decades. Leo has said that Kate is one of the few people in Hollywood who truly understands what he went through during that period of his life and career. What's particularly interesting is how Leo has discussed the difference between on-screen intimacy and real-life connection. He's been clear that the chemistry between Jack and Rose was the result of skilled acting and professional collaboration, not romantic feelings between the actors. He's talked about the importance of being able to create believable intimacy with a scene partner without blurring the lines between performance and reality. That professional boundary, maintained with respect and clear communication, is what allowed him and Kate to create something magical on screen while building a lasting friendship off-screen. Leo has also addressed the physical demands of filming intimate scenes, particularly in the conditions they faced on Titanic. The cold water, the long hours, the physically demanding nature of many scenes. All of these factors added layers of challenge to what was already emotionally complex work. He's talked about how he and Kate would check in with each other constantly, making sure they were both okay physically and emotionally. That mutual care and concern became part of their working relationship and contributed to the sense of partnership that's visible on screen. The impact of those scenes on Leo's career trajectory is something he's acknowledged in interviews. Titanic made him a global superstar, and the romantic scenes with Kate were a huge part of why audiences connected so deeply with the film. He said that he's grateful for the opportunity the film provided, but that he's also worked hard to show his range as an actor beyond romantic leading man roles. That said, he's never dismissed or downplayed the importance of those scenes in Titanic. He recognizes them as career-defining moments and as some of his most memorable work. Leo has spoken about the craft involved in filming intimate scenes effectively. It's not just about the physical aspects. It's about building the emotional journey that leads to those moments, making sure the audience understands why the intimacy matters to the story. In Titanic, every intimate moment between Jack and Rose is earned through the development of their relationship. Leo has talked about how he and Kate worked to make sure that progression felt natural and inevitable, so that by the time they reached the more intimate scenes, the audience was completely invested in their relationship. The reunion scenes between Leo and Kate at awards shows and other public events have become beloved moments for fans who ship their friendship. Leo has talked about how special it is to see Kate after time apart, how they can pick up right where they left off because of the foundation they built on Titanic. He's also joked about how they're forever linked in the public imagination as Jack and Rose, even though they've both had long, diverse careers playing many other characters. One of the most touching things Leo has said about filming intimate scenes with Kate is that she made him feel like he could do anything. Her confidence, her lack of self-consciousness, her complete commitment to the work. All of these qualities inspired him to push past his own limitations and doubts. He said that every actor should be fortunate enough to work with someone who brings out their best. And for him, Kate was that person during one of the most important films of his career. Leo has also discussed the evolution of his perspective on those scenes over time. When they were filming Titanic, he was young and focused on getting through each day of the demanding shoot. Now, with decades of perspective, he can appreciate the artistry involved, the skill required, and the fortunate alignment of circumstances that allowed him and Kate to create something so memorable. He said that looking back, he's amazed by what they accomplished and by how well the intimate scenes hold up decades later. The continued relevance of Titanic and the ongoing fascination with Leo and Kate's on-screen chemistry has meant that Leo is still regularly asked about filming those intimate scenes decades after the fact. He's handled these questions with grace and thoughtfulness, never dismissing them as old news, but also not sensationalizing the experience. He's maintained a consistent message. It was professional work done with great care, respect, and artistic intention, and he's proud of what they created together. In conclusion, what Leo DiCaprio has revealed about filming intimate scenes with Kate Winslet in Titanic and Revolutionary Road paints a picture of two consummate professionals who approach challenging work with respect, communication, and mutual support. Their collaboration created some of cinema's most memorable romantic moments, not through some mysterious magic, but through skill, trust, and a commitment to serving the story. Leo's reflections on these experiences offer valuable insights into the craft of acting, the importance of creating safe working environments, and the profound impact that the right creative partnership can have on an artist's career and life. The friendship that emerged from that collaboration stands as a testament to the power of shared experience and mutual respect, proving that sometimes the most meaningful relationships in Hollywood are built not on romance, but on professional admiration and genuine human connection.